What's good, YouTube? It's your main man, AB the Hero, back again with another video. Today's video, we're talking about the three players the Hornets potentially need to move in order to maximize this season. How do you get the most out of? You got LaMelo hooping, y'all in a really good position. Miles Bridges, all them boys is hooping. What do you need to do? Let's get into it.
AB the Hero, back at it, baby.
All right, so what we're looking at today is an article from over at Clutch Points where they talk about three players that the Hornets must move at the 2022 NBA trade deadline. Now, some of these I'm interested in, some of these I'm like, I don't know. We'll see, or we'll go through this stuff. We'll kind of look at the potentials of some of these trades and we'll work it all the way through. So stick with your boy. All right, so obviously we look at this Hornets team. They started off extremely hot going on at the beginning of the season. Things started to taper off a little bit, then all of a sudden the health and safety protocols really got in there and shut some stuff down. So in order to get it moving, like, what are some things that you can maybe do to jumpstart the squad? Also, I think that in watching a lot of basketball this season, and it's something that I've always said as well, but I'm starting to see it even more now watching these games, there's obviously a positive to having a super deep team, right? Having a bunch of guys who deserve minutes, who should be on the floor, who should be playing. But oftentimes what that does is it muddies the water, right? You get guys out there and if folks don't know what their role is, they don't know who's scoring, who's coming off the bench, who's facilitating, who's rebounding, and you got guys who can do a little bit of everything, it just makes the waters a bit more muddy. I think that that's a situation that the Charlotte Hornets team has found themselves in. When guys are out, it's wide open. Folks can step up. You look at them last night versus the Pacers, and Terry Rozier is going off, right? But you also don't have Miles Bridges in here taking up a lot of shots, who has been going off. You find moments where all of a sudden Gordon Hayward will be going off, but that's when X and X, Y, and Z is out. So I think that that's what they are in, that space where they've got a lot of good pieces. But when you're trying to keep all of these good pieces happy throughout the season, right, and you're trying to play everybody, sometimes that muddies the water. And so this is why I think like this trade situation has come into play for me. All right, so number one on this list here is PJ Washington. Obviously PJ Washington has been playing like the small ball power forward center for the Hornets at times. Miles Bridges took his starting job this season as that small ball player. And realistically, the way Miles Bridges is playing, PJ Washington is never getting his job back. But he's still a young guy, still has shown some value. PJ so much impressed me the way he's been shooting the three ball lately. So he does have some value on the market. You'll see the consistent theme, I guess, throughout this whole conversation with the Hornets folks, the Ballerverse, all of that stuff is folks want Miles Bridges, right? So is there a way to potentially trade a PJ, I'm sorry, not Miles Bridges, Miles Turner? Is there a way to potentially trade a PJ Washington for Miles Turner? We'll see. All right, number two on this list is James Bouknight. Now, James Bouknight is, like I said, one of those guys who has shown that he can score the ball, but where he got his opportunity to show us that is in moments where folks was down, right? So it's like, yes, you can have an elite scorer and James Bouknight on your team, but if you can't find him minutes, then what do you have, right? So this is where they say, you know what, this is an opportunity to have your lottery pick, your first round pick from this past season, maybe on the market. Maybe can bring you in some guys or be a part of a piece in order to bring you in. What you really want is some stability and an upgrade in the front court, where Miles Turner comes back into this conversation. Now, I keep saying Miles Turner, and there's something to me which I think he is like enough French player where this does not ultimately apply. But it's always funny to me when folks are like, ooh, if we just traded for Damian Lillard, we would be better. Oh shoot, and we can go get Bam Adebayo. Oh, think about, you know what I mean? And there's certain guys where it don't matter what team you put them on, it's going to be an upgrade. I do think it's interesting that the Miles Turner thing keeps coming up, because I feel like he is a highly touted player, but also not one of those guys where like it's obvious. If Ben Simmons come to your team, obviously y'all going to be better. If Luka Doncic come over here, obviously you're going to be better. If Kevin Durant, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, we'll be a contender if we can figure out a way to get James Harden, right? So I appreciate the Miles Turner conversation for that reason. Now, Gordon Hayward, and this is really what made me want to make this video, and it's because this last night at the game, right, what you notice is, especially when Melo's there, everybody's screaming, Melo, Melo, everybody, Terry, everybody's trying to get the players to turn around, right? Acknowledge the crowd. And the crowd, and they do such a good job of blocking it out, ignoring it. I'm not paying no attention, not, you know what I mean, not looking. And last night, what I noticed was the only player who was distracted, who kept looking into the stands, who was in like, was this Gordon Hayward guy, right? And it made sense because Gordon Hayward is I believe from the Indianapolis area, Indiana area, and then also he played ball at Butler, a historic run at Butler. So he is like one of the darlings of the city. So he's back at the game. Friends and family are all there to watch him play, and he seemed to be at times in awe of the moment, right? I heard in the post game he was even mentioning like it was cool to look up there and see people he hadn't seen in so long. And so here's why we're here. You have a fan base, you have pundits who all feel like the answer to the question is Miles Turner, and then you might have a Gordon Hayward who'll be like, man, you know what? These past couple years in the NBA have been some bullshit. What happened up there in Boston? I was supposed to go there and be one of the guys, had the issue with the ankle, that never panned out. I got to Charlotte thinking, all right, here's my moment. I'm finna take over a franchise. And then all of a sudden they drafted LaMelo Ball and shit hit the fan there. What we have seen, and the Indiana Pacers have a good track record of this, with Victor Oladipo, they brought him in and said, bro, here go the keys, Vic. And Victor Oladipo hooped out here, and they gave him a bag for doing it, a huge bag. And now Victor Oladipo was also one of the first people we seen like it's the same shit that happened with LeBron, where you be playing with them, then they go to the next team and all of a sudden it's crazy good. So with Westbrook, he was over OKC with Westbrook and was just okay. Then he got to Indiana and became an all-star. I think that's an opportunity for Gordon Hayward to slip into that type of situation as well. Here's where I pause and I say, yo, let me know, what do y'all think about these trades? Can you see a Gordon Hayward, you know what I mean, a Miles Turner trade? And with the understanding that Gordon Hayward's contract is so big that potentially it would have to be a three-way team trade to make anything work for him anyway, because I think he's salaried at let me see, 29, oh yeah 29, basically 30 million a year right now. So when you look up a Miles Turner, who I believe is making about 18, yeah, 18. So there's some wiggle room right there, right? This Pacers team would be very close to being over cap or whatnot if you go make that trade. So you have to move a couple different people. Now, here's the interesting situation with this Pacers team is some of their best guys, you got like a TJ Warren is out for the rest of the season, so he's not playing, eating up a lot of contract stuff. You'd have to give up somebody like I got Jerry Lamb here, including Miles Turner, in order to make that work. If we go over here and we look at the NBA trade machine, you could try this trade and that's failed, right? But now, if this was just a two-team trade, like I already said, they probably gonna have to add a third team. That's what they typically do. You add not a TJ Warren, you add my man here, boom. The trade is successful right there. You got Miles Turner, Jeremy Lamb, and obviously these Hornets team, probably don't even need a Jeremy Lamb, but you know, it would be nice for these the Pacers to get that off the books, because he only giving you what we looking at 15 minutes a night or something like that, 14 minutes a night, 6 points, 1 assist, a rebound. So thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it. We finna go put some butts in the seats with Gordon Hayward. I can see that happening for this team. I don't know if I like the ideal of trading Bouknight. I believe he's got a future. And I think that when it comes to, you know, what they get from Terry, if they develop Bouknight a bit, they might be able to get that from him in the future, so he'll have some space on this squad. But that's all I got for y'all, man. Let me know what you think. Is there any other guys who need to be moved? Is these 3 dudes, is that crazy? Are they untouchable? You know what I mean? Who else would you like to see on this Hornets team going forward? It's your main man, AB the Hero. We out.
No, not peace. +1, triple B's. We out.